It's Bridgwater Carnival Day, the best day of the year, and Ryan is giving me a lift down to the cart. Are you excited about Carnival, Ryan?
Woohoo!
As we head down to the cart, we see some people heading back to their cars after an all-nighter, and as we pull into the yard, the door is already open. There is still a lot of activity around the cart and still quite a bit to do. The cart needs to be tested with the generator from front to back, and it's a lot easier to rectify any problems in the shed rather than when we get down to Parkway. Most of the people here have been either up all night or have only got a couple of hours sleep to make sure that this cart is as best as it possibly can be, and to make sure that everything is in order, ready to go. Oh, somebody's tired. I'm just getting myself set up in the tractor a bit, and the mud guards need to go down a bit, so I'm trying to work out how to do that because I'm not used to driving a tractor very often. And I think it might be this one and this one. Oh, they're going down. They've discovered a problem with the model men on the car as they move up and down, so they lift up the skirts and grind some bits off. Dad starts to go through the daily check sheet so that we can make sure that the vehicle is fit for the road. Once it's all up and running, everyone stands outside in a deliriously tired amazement at what they have achieved with this year's build. It looks amazing and everybody is really pleased with how it's turned out. Then it is time to clear the car park and get the cart out of the shed. This is a slow process with everybody watching intently to make sure that it gets out of the door safely. Because of the access to our shed, we must take the cart down in 3 pieces. The first bit being the tug or the tractor unit, which underneath is a Ford Cargo Iveco 2838. The next bit is my job, which is getting the tractor into the shed and taking down the main section of the cart. Barry watches me back, so I'm lined up with the drawbar.
Want some men? Want to jump? That way, about that far. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Hey!
Once a pin is in and secure, we can connect up our Susies.
Put your side lights on, Jem. Right, turn them off now, Jem. Go on.
These are 8 metres now, so you shouldn't get them short.
Barry,
Yeah.
have we taken the exhaust thing out the back of the generator this year?
You ain't got that far yet. You've
Oh.
got to get a generator.
He's cooled it down a minute.
Oh right, okay. We forgot last year, didn't we?
He's cooled it down a minute with a bit of war.
He looks happy, doesn't he? Once we are happy that everything has been done, we can slowly start making our way out of the shed. This needs to be done very slowly, and people will be watching from the front and from behind, just to make sure that nothing is going to catch on the way out. The cart is 11 foot wide, 16 foot high, and when fully trained, it will be 100 foot long. We used to build to 16 foot 6 high, but we kept taking down power cables, so they reduced it to 16 foot. We also used to have a lot of problems with low trees, but nowadays we don't seem to have so many problems with them. And I wonder if that's because there are more double-decker trailers that keeps the trees back for us. And at 11 foot wide, we are over 2.5 foot wider than the average truck. Because of the dimensions of the carts that we're allowed to build to, we must have a VSO, which is a vehicle special order. And this comes with 3 independent inspections throughout the year. We don't have a massive team of people to deal with this side of the build, but what we do have is a few people who are very good at what they do. Because the cart is so big, we cannot get out the gate to the shed. We actually have to take the fence down every year to get the cart out. Yeah. But squeezing out of the shed and through the fence is the easy bit. We now have to get down the lane. The first bit is a little narrow, but it's not too bad. And in fact, the biggest thing I'm worried about is all of the potholes. These potholes actually got filled in about a week ago, but because we've had so much rain in the last few days, it's actually washed it all away. And it's making the cart bounce from side to side. There are a couple of narrow spots as we come past the houses. The last section of the lane is actually the worst bit, and it gets really narrow. I know firsthand how much work goes into these carts, and I've also just seen everybody so incredibly tired with the amount of work that they've put into this cart. And for that reason, I feel like driving the cart is a huge responsibility. And down this lane, I really need to get it inch perfect. And the best way to do this is just by taking my time. However, it does feel sometimes like it goes on forever. I tend to always get the job of pulling the cart and the generator out, as Dad likes to take the tug so that he knows that it's mechanically sound for the carnivals. This bit is a very tight spot between a post and a telegraph pole, so Dan gets out of the van to watch me through. I can only see the front of the trailer through the back window, so there is a lot of guesswork with this. In my day job, I am very used to lanes like this, but I'm not used to pulling a trailer that can be so easily damaged. Finally, we are at the end of the lane, and this can be quite a busy road at times, but we're hoping not to meet too much traffic going down. As we pull out, it's quite nice to see all the way down the side of the trailer, and I'm looking very carefully to see if I've scratched anything or pulled anything off. And I'm very relieved that everything still looks intact on the cart. There are a few tight spots on this road, one being parked cars, but luckily we have enough room to get past them. We also have vehicles coming down the other way.
All good, yeah.
So our next challenge is this tree up here. I go very slowly under the tree as I can hear it rubbing on top of the cart. And there's nothing worse than the ting 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 of branches on light bulbs. Then we pass a fellow Carnivalite, Matt Bell, on our way down. He is in Ramblers, his dad, David Bell, was in Marketeers, and his granddad, Les Criddle, was one of the founder members of Vagabonds back in 1947. So what I need to do is try to line it up perfectly behind Dad. What I don't like here is the curbs are very high and our platforms are very low. At this point, I need to be dead centre of the tug so that Dad can back up to the tug and hitch up to the cart, ready to take it down to Parkway. Dad, that bit's over. We take off all the Susies and unhitch the tractor. I just need to pull a tiny bit forward so that I'm off the pin. Ready?
Let's forward. Walk. Clear. Follow.
I go forward a bit, let you know.
Sure? Or I can go back.
Yeah, we'll go back as far as you can.
Yeah.
If not, okay.
I reverse back over the tow bar and then I can squeeze the tractor out. Then I just need to turn around and head back for the generator trailer. I'll try.
I'll hit you up with your dad,
Yeah.
and then I'll follow you down. And
Yeah.
and then
All right
follow
then.
you back up.
Yeah, no worries. Heading back down is a lot quicker than with the cart on the back. As I pull into the yard, I turn myself around to back into the shed. Most people have gone now, but there are still a few here waiting for me to come back and hitch up. We hitch up exactly the same as hitching up to the cart, and we get all our Susies connected on. Then it's time for us to pull the second trailer out. This one is known as the generator trailer, as the generator is mounted on the back of this trailer. Before LED bulbs, the whole trailer would have been taken up with the generator, as a lot of the big clubs needed up to megawatt generators. But now we can use smaller generators, which allows us to build to the same standard on the generator as we do on the cart, instead of just having a big square box. Once again, I am being extremely careful as I pull it down through the narrow. Although this trailer is slightly shorter, so it's not quite as bad as pulling the cart down, although it is just as wide as the tug and the cart. Finally, we are out of the worst bit and I can pull it right down to the end of the road where the tug and the cart are, and everything's been hitched up ready to go. As soon as I arrive, we get ourselves ready to go down to Parkway, which is where all the carts line up ready for Bridgwater Carnival. When travelling to and from carnivals on live roads, we must go separated and then hitch back up once we get to our destination. Turning down into Parkway with the cart is a really exciting feeling. For a lot of people, this is the first time they would have seen the carts. There used to be a pub opposite here called the Pig and Whistle, where everyone used to stand outside and watch all the carts come down. Unfortunately, the pub is not there anymore, but Vagabonds provides a pop-up bar at the end of Parkway so everybody can still watch the carts come down and have a drink to celebrate. The bar is absolutely packed and it's so nice to see everyone waving and cheering. Ryan's brother Joe, who's in Ramblers. Rendell's. Right? Oh yeah. Yeah.
Looks nice, mate.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's at a weighbridge now, isn't it?
Yeah, we got to go on the weighbridge.
And then, close outside, don't slam it.
There is a little bit of a wait as we head down Parkway, and that is because the VSO tech team are weighing everybody in. The tug and the cart get weighed first, and then it's my turn. They weigh each axle separately, and then I can go on my way. Is that right?
Good luck tonight.
Thank you, cheers!
38.5 ton.
Oh, that's real light.
I did check yours.
I think that must be the lightest our cart has ever been. We can go up to 50 tonnes, but since the generators have got smaller, that doesn't tend to happen. There was one year where we weighed in at 54 tonnes, and we had to take some of the roof off. We've pulled right down as far as we can go, so I'm not sure if we're going to hitch up here, or whether we can get down a bit further and then hitch up, but I've tried to line up dead in line with Dad, so that once we unhitch the trailer, we can just come straight back. And the decision is that we are going to hitch up here.
Okay,
All right. So once again, I pull forwards a little bit, they lower the tow bar with the jockey wheel, and then I can reverse back over it.
Okay, Jem.
Right, Jem.
Can I come back on that, can I?
Yeah, you're going for now.
And once again, I can squeeze the tractor out so that Dad can back the tug and the cart onto the generator trailer.
Park the other side of my van.
I just said park next to the red tractor.
Yeah, there's a soggy part by the other side of my van.
Ah, right.
They won't get their van.
All right, yeah, I'll do that then. After all the rain that we've had in the last couple of weeks, I think we might struggle to get some of our vans off of the grass. Hello? Mum gives a quick ring to make sure that me, Dad and my sister are okay. They got the generator trailer hitched up to the back of the cart so quickly that by the time I park the tractor up and walk down, they are already hitched up. Once everything's hitched up together, we call this fully trained. And now all we need to do is pull down as far as we possibly can. And that is where the cart will stay until the procession starts at 6 p.m. It is now about 1 o'clock, but there is still quite a bit to do before the procession starts in 5 hours. Some carts will look better at night than they do in the day, but I can safely say that ours looks just as good in the day as it does at night, when it's all lit up. There is no easy way in and out of the driver's seat, so it's a case of... We'll put this in the tractor for safekeeping. We also need our folders. That needs to stay in the lorry, and we need to take the tractor down to the end of procession so that when we need to split down later on, we can just jump in the tractor and split down. But we'll do that in a few hours. These documents must stay with the lorry at all times. It's part of the VSO, and it contains details of the build, information about each carnival, numbers and routes, insurance documentation, and individual drivers' numbers. To be able to drive a carnival cart, you must do the driver's course, which unfortunately doesn't count towards the CPC. We also have daily check sheets in a separate folder. At this point, the cart personnel will go home and get ready for the procession tonight, whilst the road crew and helpers will deal with finishing touches.
Hey, Reggie, look at the camera, smile.
We also see friends and family walking down through, looking at the carts and making their first childhood memories of Carnival. Oh, and tractors, of course. Send time to get the tractor and support vehicles down to the end of procession so that they're ready for us to split down tonight. We don't have to go very far, but it takes around 15 minutes as the traffic is quite busy due to the fact that it's Bridgwater Carnival Day. This is also a chance to look at the other carts in front of us on Parkway. Oh, RT Keedwell. As we drive across, I spot Mitchell Slaney, who is a very talented truck photographer and videographer. When I arrive, there are a few vans already here, so I park up next to them. We decide to go to Greg's for a quick coffee, but as we get to the door, they have just shut. So instead, we just catch our lift back to the cart. And once again, we're eyeing up what other clubs have built this year. I'm feeling a little bit hungry at this point, so I walk down to Parkway shops to get some tea. I pass Marketeers on the way down, all lit up and looking great.
Put the sausage in your mouth.
No. Having some tea while Sarah does the paperwork. Poor old Martin's starting to feel it after only having 2 hours sleep last night. We're still spotting a few bulb holders with no bulbs in them, so I climb up and put some bulbs in. As it gets a little bit dimpsy, the cart personnel start to turn up, including my sister Jodie. Since the cart has been moved out of the shed, they've tested a few bits and pieces with the generator, and they've found a few bits that need to be repaired. All of the cart personnel at height need to have safety harnesses on, so everyone works together to make sure that they are on. Dad is driving tonight, but he struggles to have makeup put on. The driver and the road crew all need headsets so that we can communicate to each other throughout the carnival. We need to start getting the personnel on cart, and Sarah walks around making sure that everyone has the correct harnesses and clips to keep them safe whilst they're performing on the cart. It's only around 20 minutes now until the procession starts, and it's all getting very exciting, which also means that it's time to get the engine on and the air built up. This also gives us another opportunity to check all the lights, indicators, beacons, emergency lighting, and all the other things that we need to check. We also get some lovely Bridgwater girls walking down through, giving vagabonds loads of encouragement for tonight's performance, and it gets everyone in the mood for putting on a great show tonight. Even the road crew. That moment that the club has worked for all year round is nearly here. Everyone is getting excited, and the cart personnel are getting in the spirit by practicing their dance moves. We can see in the distance the cart's starting to move, so we get all the lights on, all the moving parts going. Everyone on the cart is dancing their hearts out. The road crew are doing their final checks, and we make sure that everything is clear so that the cart can move forwards towards the start of procession. I am road crew tonight, up at the front, guiding the cart, and Dad is driving. We pull round the first corner where we need to watch for some trees, and we're finally in the procession. Dad turned 65 last year, so now he needs a medical every single year. He's also decided that this is the last time he is going to drive a carnival cart in procession, and he's gone out with a bang by driving Bridgwater Carnival. We've had great weather this year, and the crowds are absolutely huge, as per normal. Back when Dad joined the club, you had to be 18 to be able to be a member. Although my Gramps used to help the club out with bits and bobs before this, and Dad would go along and help Gramps. Dad has always been more interested in the mechanical and engineering side of Carnival. And as you can tell from my previous videos, everyone has their role and their space in the club, no matter what their skills. Dad did try stage when he was younger, and he started at the front as a main dancer, but in his words, he quickly made his way to the back. Stage wasn't really his thing, and he only ever made it to one photo shoot. And he turned up in the wrong shirt because he had come straight from the pub. He soon gave up going on stage to concentrate on the cart, and became part of the team that won technical achievement for Vaggies many times. But probably one of the greatest achievements in Carnival was when he converted the first lorry to ever pull a carnival cart. Before that, everything was pulled by tractors. He achieved this in 1999 when carnival carts were getting bigger and heavier, and therefore being pulled by a truck made Carnival a lot safer and more stable. As we pull up round Cornhill, Chrissy reminds me that this is a place where we nearly broke down last year, right in the centre of town. We had problems with the clutch, and I needed to nurse it all the way round. This part of the route is one of the hardest bits to drive, but it's also very spectacular as we go round a hairpin bend in town. We need to keep right over to the right to get the cart round, and will only just fit. All the way round, the crowd have been great this year, and as we go round Cornhill, we also see the big screen that shows the live stream. As we head on up through town, we go past our headquarters, the Abbey, and all the members, life members and VPs are all stood outside giving us a massive cheer. For me, this is the best bit of the route, seeing the faces of all the people who have put so much in to making this cart possible. Whether it's fundraising or building or anything in between, we all have our jobs to do to make this possible. We also get a lot of photographers along the route, taking photos of the cart and the personnel. But some of the road crew feel a bit left out and jump in front of the camera themselves, just like Martin here. Because the carts are so big, some of the street furniture has to be taken out so that the carts can get round. Just like here, where there is a special slip road that is just used for Carnival, so that we can go on the other side of the roundabout, and the bollards have been removed. We are not too far away from the end now, and all in all, this has been a great carnival. Probably one of the best carnivals Dad could have driven for his last drive. And as much as we love Carnival, it's very tiring, and we are glad to see the finish line. And this is the point where I need to disappear. This is where I need to march on back to get the tractor warmed up and make sure it's ready. They're going to have to pull round, get the personnel off, and then we need to go down to junction 24 to split down. I'm now in the tractor and she's warmed up, ready to go. I'm just waiting for the cart to come down now. It will probably come down with all the lights off, music off, and no personnel on it. It might be a little while yet. They could be really quick. It just depends who's in front of them, who's holding the map. I haven't seen the club that were before us come through yet. We'll see. So it's only 9:10, which is pretty good for finishing a Bridgwater Carnival. I guess that's starting at 6. It made it a bit better. So yeah, about 3 hours-ish. Hopefully we won't be any later than 11. We'll pull the cart down to the end of this road, fully trained. We'll turn left towards junction 24 of the M5, and down there is a massive car park where we can pull in, split down, so the tug at the front and the actual cart, that will go together, and then I will hitch up the generator trailer to this tractor. Then we will go in 2 pieces down to Burnham-on-Sea. I just heard in my headphones that they're off, so hopefully it won't be long before they're coming down there. The club that were before us come down, so I'm hoping we'll be shortly behind. And a few minutes later, vagabonds arrive. So what I need to do now is get behind the cart with the escort vehicles. So now I've pulled out behind the cart and we're now just in a queue waiting to go down to junction 24. So we're now in the car park. Lots of other clubs are in here too. This is where we split down. They've only let one escort vehicle bring the whole cart down. We've had to go on ahead. Just getting my extra long Susies ready for when they arrive. And the pin that we need as well. After around 10-15 minutes of waiting, the cart pulls in round. I pull the tractor up ready for when they unhitch. And I get the Susies out ready to connect onto the back of the tractor. They unhitch super quickly and I only have time to put the red line on. So I get back into the tractor and get lined up to hitch up to the generator trailer. They watch me back to get the tow bar in line with the hitch on the trailer. Then I get back out to connect my yellow airline. Say goodbye to Mr. Pharaoh for a minute. Turn the working lights off. Just got my front lights on, my beacons, and we can go. The next carnival is Burnham-on-Sea, so that is where we are heading. And I follow the cart with the escort vehicles all the way down to Burnham-on-Sea. They close the road so that we can line up, ready for the carnival for a couple of days. We are one of the first clubs out at Burnham-on-Sea, so we go past most of the carts to get down to the front of procession. There's not a lot of room down past the other carts, so we've got to be pretty careful. And the fact that it's so dark doesn't help either. Because we are so close to the front, we're hoping that Monday will be quite an early finish. Once we reach our destination, I line up as central to the cart as I possibly can. Once again, as before, we take all the Susies off. We take the pin out and I pull forwards a little bit before they drop the tow bars down slightly and I reverse back over it to get out. Pull down past the cart and there's a grass verge on the opposite side of the road where I can park the tractor. And Martin watches me back so I can tuck it right in out of the way. So what they're doing as I'm packing away, they're just watching Dad back onto the generator trailer. By the time I've packed away, here They should be done. It's been a really long day for people, and for some of them it's been a really long 2 days with very little sleep. So once we're parked up and hitched up and everything's safe and secure, we head home. On our way back, we see a number of carts going in the opposite direction, still heading out towards Burnham-on-Sea. Whilst the road crews are out moving the carnival carts, back in the centre of town is the squibbing display, which happens just before the results. And a big congratulations to Ramblers for winning at Bridgwater with their entry Trawlermen. Thanks for watching.